It's Ken Harbaugh. Like most of us, I have followed the war in Ukraine from the beginning. Right now, the Ukrainian military is pushing back hard, retaking hundreds of square miles of its territory. The Russian army in some areas appears on the verge of collapse. The tactical situation fascinates me as a military person, but the human stories are why I care. Check out this incredible video of an elderly Ukrainian woman seeing a soldier freezing in fear, then realizing he's not a Russian occupier, but a Ukrainian liberator.
Слава Україні! Да, свої.
With the latest Ukrainian advance, we are seeing scenes like this from dozens of liberated villages. It's inspiring and hopeful, and a sign that people fighting on their own soil for their own families and freedom might be outmatched militarily, but can never be outfought. But, as encouraging as this latest news from Ukraine may be, I'm still angry. Angry that this ever happened. Angry at the brutality and arrogance of Vladimir Putin. And angry at the American politicians who gave aid and comfort to the Russian invaders. The war in Ukraine is far from over, and neither is our fight to hold American politicians accountable for their complicity. Donald Trump bears the greatest responsibility. His first impeachment was for blackmailing the president of Ukraine during that infamous phone call. After Russian tanks began their assault, he called Putin a genius and said that Russia's military was the greatest peacekeeping force in the world. But it's not all on him. Other Republican leaders went along. I spoke with Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman about this recently for Burn the Boats. The whole interview will go up soon on the MeidasTouch channel, but I wanted to share this part now as events unfold in Ukraine. Just a couple of days before the invasion, you tweeted this out. You wrote, "A great deal of the GOP leadership will have blood on their hands." And this is before the tanks rolled. They're fanning flames, encouraging Putin to attack Ukraine. Putin and his regime perceive opportunities because such fools suggest the U.S. is weak, divided, and distracted. That perfect call in which the leader of Ukraine was essentially blackmailed over an investigation into Joe Biden had geopolitical, strategic ramifications, and the lives of hundreds of thousands at stake. And we see that playing out now. As a Ukrainian American, as an American first and foremost, though, how do you think about the years that have passed since that call and all that has unfolded because of President Trump's complicity?
It's one of those things where I keep asking myself, could I have done more? What more could I have done? That phone call set off a series of events that precipitated Putin's invasion in 2022. I would say it was a major milestone in Putin thinking, okay, the U.S. is not going to be there. And what we should take from this episode is that, we don't determine outcomes around the world. We weren't able to determine outcomes in Afghanistan, but what we do matters because other people listen. And when the politicians, the Republicans, chose to look the other way, when the president was, apparently corrupt, attempted to use to extort a strategic partner for an investigation and wasn't held accountable. When the Republican Party then proceeds to shift their views on pushing back on Russian aggression, pushing back on the surging authoritarianism, other places around the world pay attention. You can't have, leadership, whether that's former Secretary Pompeo, or various, like Tucker Carlson, who's the mouthpiece for the Republicans, or any number of Republican figures, Ron Johnson running for office, say something and then believe that it's just politics, it doesn't mean anything. It has real world implications. It has real world consequences. And frankly, many people are suffering because of these folks' terrible leadership, self-service. I don't even know. I mean, there's all sorts of negative, profane things to be said, but we'll just leave it at that.
As encouraged as I am by the Ukrainian military's latest advances, I will not let people like Mike Pompeo, Tucker Carlson, and most of all, Donald Trump off the hook. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman is right. They have blood on their hands. We cannot allow Donald Trump and his extremist enablers to ever hold power again.
This November is Rovember. MeidasTouch just released its brand new collection of Rovember t-shirts and pins to let the country know what's at stake this upcoming midterm election. Go to store.meidastouch.com to grab yours. That's store.meidastouch.com.